Good for us, bad for Aaron Rodgers is his propensity to appear each week on Pat McAfee Show during football season and talk about stuff. And look, I knew it would rile up certain folks to comment on the claim that there is no Jeffrey Epstein client list. And I say claim. I don't know what the facts are. Do we ever know what the facts are anymore about anything? I sure as hell don't. But it wouldn't have made its way into this conversation or onto PFT, but for the fact that Aaron Rodgers, during one of those moments where he's way too comfortable in that safe space, where he's never pushed, he's never criticized. So what happens is, and I don't know that McAfee strategically engineered this. Maybe he did, but you make the guy very comfortable and he says stuff. He says stuff he'll never say anywhere else. And he got way too comfortable and he made a joke, air quotes or otherwise, about Jimmy Kimmel being on the Epstein client list. That was early 2024. And that created, multiple days, multiple stories. McAfee apologized for his role in the situation. ESPN called it something like a dumb and misguided joke or something like that. Aaron Rodgers was upset with ESPN's comment. It all came from the fact that Rodgers feels compelled to hold court once a week on McAfee's show. He doesn't need to do it. I don't know whether he's getting paid or not getting paid. He reportedly was getting paid, but I think he said he's not getting paid. Why, Aaron Rodgers, do you need to do it? I like it that you do it because you give me content. I like it. This is against my interests, but it reminds me exactly of the same things I said about Ben Roethlisberger when he used to do, I think it was a Tuesday afternoon radio spot on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. He inevitably would say something seemingly every week that would create an issue with the team. You don't want to get yourself in that setting where you're very comfortable, you're very talkative, and you're saying things that undermine what your objective is. What's your objective this year, Aaron Rodgers? That's the question. What is your goal? Let's look at it that way. Let's look at it analytically. What is your goal, Aaron Rodgers? Now, if your goal is to win as many football games as possible, qualify for the postseason, carry the Steelers to their first playoff win since 2016, and possibly beyond, and maybe, just maybe, if everything works out just right, and somehow the Steelers are able to compete with and beat in the postseason the Chiefs or the Bills or the Ravens or the Texans or the Chargers or the Broncos, the best of the best in the AFC, if they can run that gauntlet and get to the Super Bowl, I assume that's what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. Okay, if that's the objective, how does making a Tuesday appearance every week on McAfee's show cause you to achieve that goal? What does it do? What does it do to help you toward what presumably is your goal, your objective, your obsession? Because you got to be obsessed. To compete with the guys who we know are obsessed, you got to be as obsessed. Patrick Mahomes isn't doing a weekly 20, 30, 40-minute radio, podcast, YouTube thing, TV. Josh Allen isn't doing it. Joe Burrow isn't doing it. Jared Goff isn't doing it. Brock Purdy isn't doing it. So, again, it's against my interests. But if your goal is to win, get to the playoffs, win a playoff game, get to a Super Bowl, maybe win a Super Bowl, be one of those rare guys who can walk away with a trophy under his arm. Jerome Bettis, Michael Strahan, Peyton Manning. You want to join that pantheon? No more Tuesdays. I'll talk to the media because I'm required to on Wednesday. I'll talk after the game because I'm required to, and that's it. It's that simple. Now, if Rodgers has designs on having a podcast of his own, on being in the media, either the new media or the legacy media or any media. Well, I understand why he keeps doing McAfee Show. But he tells us, you'll never hear from me again. Unless he is willing to do things that are against what his interests should be. And his interest should be focusing fully and completely on winning games for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Unless he's willing to do that, he's lying about his media objectives. And he's doing the podcast thing with McAfee because not long after Aaron Rodgers retires, there will be an Aaron Rodgers podcast. And he'll have some excuse that'll be semi-plausible as to why he decided to do it. I didn't want to do it, but the world needs my voice. Some shit like that. Sorry, Gary. All right. So I think it's very simple. Not that he's going to listen to me, not that he ever would listen to me, but I hope he keeps getting way too comfortable and saying ridiculous things that can be the basis for stories at PFT. You know, I'm not looking for reasons to write about Aaron Rodgers. He gives me reasons to write about him. And the reasons he gave to write about him in January of 2024 resonated into July of 2025 because there's a development that ties back to it, and off we go. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Because really, I don't know if this is a bit or what. I think what I'm saying is exactly accurate, and I believe it. I just don't know that it helps my business because I really would prefer that he keeps talking. And I hope that he has a podcast where he says all kind of crazy things into perpetuity, like the COVID vaccine has nanobots that under a certain frequency will gather together and form a tracking device, which is exactly what he said on Joe Rogan's podcast earlier this year. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.